Mayor, when you're ready to start, we are unmuted and online.
All right, City of Shaniko Special City Council meeting of May 13th, 2026, 7 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, Councilmember Mark Hort, are you in attendance?
Yes, I am.
Councilmember Brown?
Present.
Councilmember Cagle?
Here.
All right.
Yourself.
Let the record show that we have 3 council members and the mayor in attendance, and that constitutes a quorum. Please rise for the. I'm sorry, and
Miller.
Ms. Miller, are you here?
I am here.
All right. All right, please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have unfinished business from May 11th, 2026. Resolution 2026-03 is a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2026-27 fee schedule. Ms. Miller, Ms. Miller, do you want to present on the fee schedule?
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see if video will not lag. The fee schedule is a combination of the fees that you already have in place, the water fees, and then the proposed fees for the city. I do propose that one of the items that was missed was an address application. And I suggest that be $30 under land use and planning. And I do recommend that the mayor hold a hearing on this for public comment.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Give me a pen. Is there any discussion or questions about this from the council? Councilmember Mark Hort?
Yes, I believe that this is a really important service that we ought to offer our community. It has been a problem in the past. It's something that we are legally required to do as a municipality, and I think that $30 is more than reasonable for an application fee.
Does anyone else have anything to say? Thank you, Councilmember Mark Hort.
Yes, I would agree with Ms. Miller that this would be beneficial to have a public hearing on, so we could invite the community to comment and then proceed from there with a motion to approve. That's all I have.
Councilmember Cable?
I like it. Yeah, let's proceed with however we need to.
So at this point, I would entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion.
I'd second that.
All right, so we've got the motion is to approve the resolution 2026-03 adopting the fiscal year 2026-27 fee schedule and to add a new address application for $30.
I just have a question real quick.
Go ahead, Councilmember Mark Hort.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify, are we voting on this motion here just for the application for the physical address, or is this the entire resolution?
This is the entire resolution.
I did see a couple of things that I personally would like to see some discussion on. If you give me just a second while I pull this up in front of me. Just scrolling down, this is quite a large document. One discussion I'd like to hold with the council here is it's my personal belief that we ought to increase just slightly the billing rates for particularly water usage. And I think that the residential service of $45 a month, I think we ought to raise that to $50. The light commercial, it shows as $53 a month. I think that we should raise that to $60. And then the heavy commercial, which to my knowledge only pertains to a handful of properties here in town, that use literally probably more water than the rest of the municipality. They're listed at $60 a month. I think we ought to raise that to $100.
I agree.
And that would be my input. And the reason for that is just usage wise. It's my understanding that we do not actually go around and physically read meters. If we were to do so, I think that their water bill would be substantially higher at those particular properties. And that's my reason for bringing this up.
Any other council member have a comment on that?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Councilmember Brown?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is this looks like it might need a little bit more discussion. I might lean on Miss Miller's budgeting report to see what the expenditures are for keeping the water system up and then what the fees add up to, so we can have an educated decision when we
Agree.
decide to raise them, so it doesn't feel arbitrary, although it does feel like perhaps it needs to go up. I think there's further discussion needed on this.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the table to vote on this fee schedule for fiscal year 2026-27.
Can we?
We
We
have to
Mayor,
vote
may
on
I?
need to, yes, Ms. Miller, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. What we have here for water rates is a current resolution in place. And with the happenings before is that there has been some irregular collection. So my feeling is that you you get all of the policies and procedures in place. This is known to the public, start collecting and recording appropriately, and then have a discussion maybe in 6 months. Is this fee schedule serving you properly? But at least they're all on one document. Again, this is also a living document, but if we're talking about water rates, usually you would need a water study to justify increased rates.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. So it sounds like there is a desire to raise some of these rates. I tend to agree with Ms. Miller that we should establish the baseline to start with.
I do too, now that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We do have a motion and a second on the table to adopt this. This does not preclude us from, at a subsequent meeting, to raise the rates. We also, I think Ms. Miller is correct in that there are a lot of people who have not been paying their water rates. And once we get a better idea of how much we have coming in with the existing fee schedule, then we can discuss about whether we're going to raise them or not. So we have a motion and a second on the table right now. Oh,
Can I just say
yes,
that,
Councilmember Cagle.
thank you. Now, hearing what you said, I agree with that, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I would also agree with what the recorder and Councilmember Kegel just said. It sounds like we need a little bit more research and discussion into this, so perhaps we could table this matter for another date.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the table, and I think what Ms. Miller is suggesting is that we need to pass the baseline. So we actually can start the we can start collecting from everyone. Hold on a second, Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I'd like to add that this is a collection of the current fee schedule. The water is as is, so it's just the existing costs documented here with a couple additional items on the second page. So that's my thought. I know that there's been a motion in a second, so yeah, that's all the discussion I've got to share.
Right. So I would entertain an amendment to the motion to table it.
You have,
But
I would make that motion, yes.
do I have a second on that?
Can I comment? Or I can't?
You can go ahead and comment.
Okay, I just was gonna say that I'm all for discussing the reasons to or not to raise rates at a further time, but I think that we should just get this done and get it, because it is, where we're at. And then we can schedule, a discussion about, we can look at it closer and she can offer some other stuff, and then we can, maybe then tackle that part. So I think we should just pass it as it is, or whatever.
All right, thank you. Original motion to table. Do I have a second? Well, without a second, the motion for the amendment does not carry, will not be voted on. So I'm going to go ahead and call the vote now, unless there are any other comments on this issue. Councilmember
Yeah,
Markle.
I do have a comment. So I just want to make sure it seems like we're just trying to pass this entire huge resolution document as a whole. And there are some other stuff within the land use and planning. It seems like we need more discussion on this. It just seems to me like we're just trying to speedily pass this real quick, and I'm not very comfortable with that. I think that we ought to table this, do some more research, and get a little more in-depth on discussion at a different date before we actually pass this.
Your point that we are not passing anything that does not already exist. This is the actually current fee schedule. We're just confirming that this is the baseline for the fee schedules that we have here.
Sure,
in
but
Shannon.
let me make sure we're on the same page here. I'm looking at a document labeled Exhibit A as an alpha, City of Shaniko Fee Schedule 2026-27, Water Resolution -2023-03. This document is 4 pages in total. It is not just the water rates. There's a significant amount of other things that are attached to this, such as business activities, business licensing fees, permitting and business licenses for liquor licenses, and for land use and planning. This is not solely just reaffirming the current water rates. And my fear is that this is being speedily and hastily passed. I think that we ought to do some more research and dive into this a little further.
Thank you,
Unless
Councilmember
I'm
Markle.
looking at the wrong document. If I am, please let me know.
Yeah, as far as I know, the resolution. Councilman Brown, do you have something? As far as I know, the resolution itself is a single page. The rest of it is just
And-
outlining the existing fee schedules have been in the past.
Mayor, why don't you lean on, if I
Okay,
may,
then I,
Miller to clarify?
Ms. Miller, would you clarify for us any of Councilmember
thank you.
Marquardt's questions?
I will, and Mr. Marquardt is correct. The land use and planning fees do not exist. These are my recommended fees based off of smaller municipalities. These are very small fees compared to some other larger cities. They're basically bare minimum. And if you see that a lot of the land use planning, they're all about the same amount for what it is would be in the land use. As far as like the business licenses, that is current. The liquor license, I don't believe you have a fee for that. And the restroom fee is current. The water rates are current. So essentially all we're doing is adding land use and planning and some OLCC and extra copies, administrative copies and budget document copies, lien searches.
respectfully, I do believe I've received the wrong document. The document I have appears to not be the same document that you were all discussing. And that raises some major questions here. I don't think we ought to vote on this. I apparently don't have the correct information in front of me because what I'm reading has a whole bunch of stuff at the bottom, and it seems like you guys are trying to pass it.
Councilmember Cagle.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand that you're seeing a lot of things that have never been here before. What she just said was that they are fees that we probably need to adopt, and that she chose she lowballed all those fees. So, if anything, we would be raising them and not lowering them. And they're all things that we need to have. So she did the research to find out what
Sure.
rate was for that stuff. That's all she's saying.
Sure. No, I understand. I just want to be sure that I'm looking at a different document than what y'all are discussing. Because there's a bunch of stuff on here that is more than just water rates.
Right,
There's
yeah.
all of
We
these things.
have the same stuff.
Yeah.
Councilmember Marquardt, we have the same documents.
But
Yes.
Okay, so I am looking at the same thing.
Yes.
I do not agree with this. I think we need to do some further research and we need to do some further discussion on this. I do not agree with the way this is written currently. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Marquardt. Well, we have a motion and a second on the table to adopt Resolution 2026-03, adopting the fiscal year 2026-27 fee schedule with the, and also to add the new address application. So we have a motion and a second. We have to vote on this. Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle, how do you vote?
Is this a crucial thing? That
Yes,
we
it
need?
absolutely is.
Councilmember Marquardt, just wait till you're
I
recognized,
mean,
please.
what I'm saying
Go
is
ahead,
this
Councilmember
something
Cagle.
that we need to turn into someone? It's important that we get done like right now.
Ask Crystal.
I,
Yeah.
Counselor,
Krista, would you care to address Councilmember Cagle's question?
I would, thank you. Most municipalities, I'm sorry, I'm sick. Most municipalities either do this at the beginning of the year or before their next fiscal budget year. You don't have one. So these are fees that we're going to anticipate or relatively anticipate for your next budget cycle. And being that we are in the budget season, we need to know what fees we plan on putting into your budget document.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
With that, I would say I'll give it yay.
Yay. So I've got a yay from Councilmember Cagle, a yay from Councilmember Brown, and a nay from Councilmember Marquardt. Let the record show that the resolution 2026-03 has passed with a margin of 2-1.
With the addition of the new address
With the
application.
addition of the new address application. That's correct. All right, moving on to budget items, we need to appoint a budget officer. Ms. Miller, would you speak to that?
Thank you. It is required to have a budget officer, and you have the option to appoint somebody from the council or community. It is the norm for the recorder or manager to be the budget officer or finance director. It is a formality.
And this is required by the Oregon revised statute?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this, Councilmember Marquardt? Do you have any discussion on this?
I do not.
Councilmember Brown?
None.
Councilmember Cagle? Do you have any comments on this?
No.
Okay, so at this point, I would entertain a motion to appoint Krista Miller, the interim recorder, as the budget officer for fiscal year 2026-27.
Yes, I make a motion.
All right,
I make a motion to appoint Krista Miller, interim recorder, as the budget
all
officer.
right, Councilmember Brown has made the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilmember Cagle. So is there any more discussion on this issue?
No.
Okay. So Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote on appointing Krista Miller, the interim recorder, as the budget officer for fiscal year 2026-27?
I abstain on this one. Thank you.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle.
You've shown very high marks in knowing what you're doing, and I appreciate that, and that's a yay.
So yay. So let the record show that we have 2 yays, 0 nays, and 1 abstention. So let the record show that the motion to appoint Krista Miller, the interim recorder, as the budget officer for fiscal year 2026-27 has passed. Moving on to resolution 2026-04 to close the schoolhouse fund.
Oh, yeah.
Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from Miss Miller as to the balance in the schoolhouse fund right now as per your calculations to date.
I wasn't prepared for this question. It is 1 second. About 3,000. 1 second. Can you come back to me and I'll get you the exact number?
Yes.
Not a problem. I'll add on. My understanding is that to close a fund that you have to have a positive balance. So let me ask a more vague question as to whether we'd be able to close this out or whether we need to look further into it.
The balance is negative $3,432.59 as of May 11th, 2026. You cannot have a negative balance when closing a fund. However, you have a fund and either you can keep it open and plan on putting money into it this year. And I would have to check. I don't even know that you can start out a fund in a negative, because the idea is that there are income and outgoing, and they have to align before the end of the year. So my feeling is that you need to put this money into that fund and do whatever you're going to do with it going forward before the end of this fiscal year.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Given that, I'd make a motion to table the discussion on closing the schoolhouse fund until next meeting.
I'd second that motion.
All right, we've got a motion to table the closing out the schoolhouse fund, and we have a second. Is there any more discussion on this issue?
I just have a quick question. Now that the schoolhouse is now rented out, it's my understanding that that organization is now responsible for the physical requirements of that. So do we no longer need this fund? It seems unnecessary.
Ms. Miller, can you speak to that?
In our first meeting, one of the items that you brought to me was the request to close the fund, that you do not use it. So I am simply providing you an avenue to close the fund.
All right, thank you. So we've got a motion and a second. So we've got a motion and a second to table this item to the next meeting. Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yay.
Let the record show that resolution 2026-04 to close the schoolhouse fund has been tabled till the next meeting, and the vote was 3 yeas and 0 nays. All right, so moving on, we need to approve the budget calendar for fiscal year 2026-27. Does anybody have any discussion about this? Ms. Miller, would you like to speak to this briefly?
Thank you, Mayor. While budget calendars are not required by budget law, it is a consensus of the council that you are willing and available, and if there are any budget committee members, that they are also, we're scheduled, basically, this is a schedule for everybody. And then it also lays out like what the expectations are for staff and for council. So there are budget law requirements. If you publish in the paper, there are 5-day minimums. If you use mailers, then there's 10-day minimums. So I have adjusted it for mailers. I think going forward, having it just public, it will cost you about the same to put it in the paper. It just needs to be of general circulation. It doesn't have to be that the paper comes to the city. And then you also get a certified notice to say that you submitted your documents through the paper. However, this is just the calendar, a formality.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Councilmember Marquardt, do you have any discussion on this?
No.
Councilmember Brown?
I'll add that in our last regular council meeting, when Commissioner Brady was on board, he heard us discussing the newspaper, and in the chat had added that our local newspaper would be the Columbia Community Connection News. I don't have any more discussion.
Councilmember Cagle?
I do not.
So I would entertain a motion to adopt the budget calendar for fiscal year 2026-27. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Councilmember Cagle's making a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026-27 budget calendar as presented. Do I hear a second?
Yes, I'll make a second.
Councilmember Brown has made a second to approve the fiscal year 2026-27 budget calendar as presented. Is there any more discussion on this before we take a vote? If there's no more discussion, I'm going to call for the vote now. Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle, how do you vote?
Yay.
All right, let the record show that by a margin of 3 yeas and 0 nays. The motion to approve the fiscal year 2026-27 budget calendar as presented has passed. Moving on, we have the engagement with the local investment group. I believe that is the local government investment pool, LGIP. Is that correct, Ms. Miller?
That is correct, Mayor.
All right, so this is an account that is available to municipalities, which generates 10% return on all monies in the account. This is a way for us to generate revenue where other municipalities do. And currently, I don't believe I've seen any information that the LGIP account has ever been in exist for the city of Shaniko. So I think this is a pretty good way to manage our finances. Is there any discussion on this? Councilmember Marquardt, do you have any comments on this?
I do remember from public records quite a while back, I want to say 8 years or maybe even 10 years back, that there was some mention of an account similar to this. I don't know if it's the same thing. The one thing that I would add is this all should be public knowledge. This shouldn't be behind closed doors where, one person with the control of the account or one person and the mayor can just take money in and out of this. There should be public accountability for this. Thank you.
Yes, and speaking to that, I don't think that's any different than the current general fund bank account where the recorder and the mayor could take any and all the money out if they so chose to engage in theft of city funds.
I sure hope not.
Yeah, nothing would stop them, I guess. Ms. Miller, do you have any other comments on this?
I do, thank you, Mayor. A correction, I misspoke when we spoke the first time about the percentage. Right now, it is I believe 4.4%. It is projected to be the same for fiscal year 26-27. It will still provide you a way to incur additional revenue. The process for this is to have a resolution and an application. And in transferring funds, if you would like to set a policy or something around that to where a certain amount is transferred, only by council approval, then we can look at that as well. But normally, the authority lives within this office to be able to keep enough money in the general bank account, but not so much that you're losing out on the interest potential.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Is this the fund that the state would direct deposit instead of sending us checks?
That is one of the benefits. All of your state tax, your OLCC tax, your highway apportionments, and all of that will drop directly into the LGIP account, which you would then just note on your QuickBooks and immediately start incurring interest.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Miller. So I misspoke. It was 4.4%, and this is the kind of account that will generate interest for the city instead of the non-interest-bearing checking situation. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the Resolution 2026-05, a resolution authorizing participation in an investment of city funds in the local government investment pool, and that is a governmental agency. I would entertain a motion for that.
So this is just like a savings account for the
Yes.
city?
Yes, it's basically a savings account that is managed by the state, where all city governments can put funds in, and then it generates interest, and then we can take a little bit out to put in our general fund to pay our expenses.
Gotcha. Okay.
So instead of keeping all the funds in an account that doesn't generate any interest, this is a way that the city can get some interest off of there.
That's
And
great.
most municipalities engage in the LGIP program.
Is this all of them in all the money in one, and then everybody makes 4% off that, or no? That might be getting crazy.
Well, there's only oh, go ahead, Ms. Miller.
Oh, just if you needed me.
Did you want to ask Ms. Miller
Oh, yeah,
a question?
okay, I'm sorry, this may be a silly question, but is this like all the people that participate in this program? It's all the money that people make 4% off of, or?
Yes.
No,
All of the cities put in their funds. They generate revenue from the interest. All of the cities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So for roughly for every $1,000 you're making $40.
mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. $43 in the city of Shaniko is one more water bill.
I know, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
it's great.
I'd make a motion to accept.
All right, so Councilmember Brown is making a motion to approve Resolution 2026-05, a resolution authorizing participation in and investment of city funds in the local government investment pool. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Got a second from Councilmember Cagle. Councilmember Marquardt, do you have any continued discussion before I call for a vote on this?
It just seems to me like this is another possible avenue for some misconduct. I don't agree with it.
Okay, Councilmember Brown, do you have any comments?
No.
Councilmember Cagle, do you have any comments?
It seems like there's a lot of good oversight, so I think it's good.
Okay. All right, this time I'm going to call for a vote on approving Resolution 2026-05, a resolution authorizing participation in and investment of city funds in the local government investment pool. Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yay. Let the record show that with 2 yeas and 1 nay, the motion to approve Resolution 2026-05, a resolution authorizing participation in and investment of city funds in the local government investment pool, has passed. Next on the agenda is the grant agreement, the Shaniko Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance Amendments Project. Councilmember Brown, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, I'd like to speak to this. I worked with the DLCD, and they came in and made a presentation a couple of months ago in regards to this project. And so, an overview of this grant agreement. We were awarded funds in totaling of $29,948. Up to 75% of this grant will be promptly dispersed to the recipient, the city of Shaniko, upon our acceptance of their acceptance of the project status report. Coming off the heels of the LGI of the previous discussion, 4% of $30,000 is $1,200, just to kind of play into our last discussion. And the project completion deadline will be June 19th of 2027. So we've got a bit of time here. Some of the goals for this project, as we discussed previously in a council meeting at the end of last year, we'd be using this money to establish baselines, code audit, code concepts. This would also include interviews with residents to have discussion about their needs, their goals, and get an overview of the population, final comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance amendments, and then city council adoption and post-acknowledgement plan. The last comprehensive plan in full was created in 1978 with only a couple amendments since then. So we decided this would be worth pursuing and much needed. And then in Exhibit B, again, this packet was sent out on Sunday to councilors. There's a basic budget here. Throughout the project, we can always amend these if needed. We could put an amendment proposal in. It just guesses how much money will be distributed for targeted interviews, $1,900, yada, yada, yada. So with this, I'm done presenting here, and I'm open to
Okay.
any questions.
So we've got a grant in the amount of $30,000.
Yes.
It's the DLCD grant, and this is going to this is a comprehensive plan for the city to upgrade it since it hasn't been updated since 1978. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what? Would you mind turning
Yeah,
that
I
off?
will.
Thank you. So this will, the idea behind this is to bring the city's code up into compliance with the state code. Is that correct, Ms. Miller?
I believe so. Ms. Brown is more versed on this than
I,
I am.
I thought so too.
Yeah. The answer is yes, in addition to making sure we have a standard to hold residents to and we have a way to educate them as to what is acceptable, what the consequences will be, and yes, to come to state compliance.
Councilmember Marcourt, do you have any discussion on this?
No.
Councilmember Cagle?
I've been looking forward to this. This will also resolve the whole how wide the roads are thing and all that stuff.
That can be addressed in
Eaves
this.
and alleys and all that. And, okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just, yes.
All right, so at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the Shaniko Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance Amendments Project Grant.
I will, yes.
I've got a motion
Make a
from
motion.
Councilmember Cagle to approve the Shaniko Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance Amendments Project Grant. Do I hear a second?
Yes, I'll make a second.
So Councilmember Brown has seconded the motion to approve the Shaniko Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance Amendments Project Grant. Is there any more discussion on this before I call for the vote? Councilmember Marcourt, do you have anything?
Not at this time. Not anything that's going to be appropriate. Thank you.
I want to clarify, you asked a question earlier and I don't know for 100% one way or the other whether it will look at the road width or not. So we'll talk to them afterward. I just don't want to guarantee something that's not explicit.
There,
Thank you.
Councilmember
Thank you,
Cagle.
Councilmember Brown. I appreciate that.
Is this something that we're going to be able to, like, talk to them? I mean, are we going to negotiate stuff, or are they going to come in and like?
Councilmember Brown.
Yes, the firm I've been talking to, if we choose to go forward with them, is going to come in and have sit-down sessions. So there will be a number of town hall style stuff where they'll come in and say, what's important to you? What do you think about this? What are problems?
That's cool. Okay.
And they'll also, aside from just council, we'll have a little committee for this that will come and participate in those discussions. And then added on, this firm will also reach out to individual landowners and residents to see what they think. And that'll be a
Cool.
one-on-one interview. So that way people who are in the community who don't feel comfortable speaking out in public will get to give their 2 cents as well. So it's taking a lot of things into consideration, and
Very good.
we
The width,
drive the ship.
and
drive car.
the width of the roads is something that is the width of the roads and the easements are something that, as the community talks to them, they will be able to help put that comprehensive plan together, what the citizenry needs
Cool.
and wants.
Great.
So at this time, I'm going to call for the vote to approve the Shaniko Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance Amendments Project Grant. Councilmember Marcourt, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle, how do you vote?
Yay.
So let the record show that with 3 yays and 0 nays, the motion to approve the Shaniko Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance Amendments Project Grant has passed. Moving on to discussion regarding the replat approval of Old City Hall.
Oh, Mayor, point of order. I believe we need to discuss the. Yes, you're on it. Excuse me.
Okay, so disregarding Councilmember Brown's incorrect assertion of point of order, the sections, number 8 here is replat approval, the Old City Hall. This was done in order to separate the tax lot from the bathroom, the Old City Hall building, and the water tank, which is disguised as an old bank. In order to move forward with the sale of the Old City Hall building, we need to approve this and have these tax lots separated. And this is so we can sell the Old City Hall building and use those funds to continue to climb the city out of debt and extend water lines to the west end of town. Is there any discussion on this, Councilmember Marcourt?
Yes, I do have a question. I just looked at it about 3 hours ago, and the survey monuments that have been set by whomever the land survey engineering company is, the monuments that I saw, it appears that the current city hall slash community center, the building that you are all sitting in right now, is included within that plat. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. The bell tower is included with the old City Hall plat.
Interesting. Well, the survey landmarks seem to indicate otherwise. I just want to make sure that we're not selling the old historic building and City Hall all in one shot, because I don't believe we discussed that.
Councilmember Brown?
Yeah, I'd like to clarify that the dotted line is in fact just the deck that is between the community center and the old city hall.
Right. Right. So
That's
the way I,
interesting. The survey markers don't appear to show that physically. I understand that the map shows that with the dotted line, but I just looked at them and it appears that it includes the building that you all are sitting in. Perhaps I'm mistaken or I missed one.
yeah, I didn't see that as being the case. What we actually did in the replat was we moved the line over because the new City Hall building was actually in the wrong place in order to separate the lines.
Yeah.
So what they did was they actually replatted this
yeah.
so that between the bathroom itself and the old City Hall is where the line is, that little alley. And then the tower's included in the City Hall, old City Hall. And then they moved that line, which was running through part of the new City Hall building. They moved it north just slightly to create a property line that is actually has no structure on it.
Mayor.
Councilmember Brown?
Yeah, so to clarify, the last existing survey did include part of the building that we are sitting in, and they replatted it to move the line over. Therefore, we won't be including the community center in the sale.
That's correct. And it says on that page, the replat page, it says old line, and then it says new line.
Mayor, may I?
Yes, Ms. Miller, go ahead.
To Councillor Marquardt's point, he was talking about physical markers, and I do believe once the plat is approved, then the surveyor will come back out and repin, correct?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so do we have any other discussion on this? Councilmember Brown?
None.
Councilmember Cagle?
No, sir.
So this time I would entertain a motion to approve the plat of the historic City Hall building.
I would make a motion.
Councilmember Cagle has made a motion to approve the plat of the historic City Hall building. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We've got a second from Councilmember Brown to approve the plat of the historic City Hall building. Councilmember Marquardt, would you like to have any more discussion on this before I call for a vote?
Just once again to restate, I just looked at it today, whether they're going to come resurvey or not. It just appears to me that the new City Hall building would be included. That's just my observation in person, boots on the ground. I don't know what the map says or what y'all have agreed upon since you're negotiating this yourself, apparently, but it looks to me like you're selling both city halls, and I don't agree with that. Thank you.
That is not the case, and that is not true. That's all I can say to that. Councilmember Cagle, do you have any more discussion on this?
I do not.
Councilmember Brown?
None.
So we've got a motion and a second to approve the plat of the historic City Hall building. Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote?
That's a strong nay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Can you give me a moment?
Yes, Councilmember Cagle, how do you vote?
Yay. It's very.
Yeah, yay.
So let the record show that we have 2 yays and 1 strong nay. And the motion to approve the plat of the historic City Hall building has passed. So I've got Resolution 2026-06, repealing ordinance number 43, and Resolution 2022-03, establishing continuity of city council meetings. Ms. Miller, will you speak to that?
Thank you, Mayor. While I was at the City Hall, I noticed that we did not have any one document that provided when council meetings actually are. So we are doing a little housekeeping by repealing ordinance 43, which I believe was a different day. And the resolution that said that the meetings were at the schoolhouse, and you now hold them in the community center. So we are just establishing some housekeeping.
Gotcha. So we're clarifying that the regular meeting of the Shaniko City Council shall be held on the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m., which would repeal, in part, resolution from 2022-03 that moved the meetings to the schoolhouse. Is that correct? Councilmember Cagle.
I just want to say that maybe because sometimes there is a big turnout and having it here is not very often, mind you, but like sometimes we do end up having, a big turnout, and sometimes we need to hold it in the school. But so can I don't know if that needs to be like.
Thank you, Councilmember Cagle. Ms. Miller, is there anything in this resolution that would preclude the city council from holding this meeting at the schoolhouse if we felt like there was going to be a large turnout?
No, this just establishes your monthly meetings. You can have special meetings or for whatever reason, you can always choose to move it somewhere for a temporary larger space or a town hall or some other, but this just establishes to the community or to anybody else that looks at your website or whatever, that this is the place to be expected, because right now your city hall says community center. So there isn't really any indication that this is city hall either. So it does not preclude you from having a town hall or something at the school.
Thank you, Ms.
Okay,
Miller.
thanks.
So this time I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2026, establishing continuity of city council meetings.
Yes, I'll make a motion.
I've got a motion from Councilmember Brown to approve Resolution 2026-06, establishing continuity of city council meetings. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I've got a second from Councilmember Cagle to approve the Resolution 2026-06, establishing continuity of city council meetings. Is there any more, Councilmember Marquardt, do you have any discussion before I call for the vote?
I would agree with the city recorder that it is not clearly labeled as City Hall, nor to my knowledge is there an actual physical address posted, and we ought to address that immediately. But other than that, I think it's good to clarify where meetings are going to be held and at one time so the public is not confused. Thank you.
Councilmember Brown, do you have any comments on this?
None.
Councilmember Cagle, any discussion on this?
I think this is great.
All right, so I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2026-06, establishing continuity of city council meetings. Councilmember Marquardt, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Cagle, how do you vote?
Yay.
So let the record show that with 3 yays and 0 nays, the Resolution 2026-06, establishing continuity of city council meetings, has passed. Section 10, I've got council comments here. Councilmember Cagle, do you have any comments?
I just want to say thank you, Ms. Miller. It's very important to have somebody in your position that is knowledgeable and can steer us a little bit, and I really appreciate you being willing to do this.
Councilmember Marquardt, do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. Respectfully, I just would like to make for public comment, let it be known that I think that there's a little bit of imbalance of power happening. I think that with the mayor and the city council president being married, I just think that that's a conflict of interest. And then the fact that Councilmember Cagle works for you as an employee seems to me like you guys could pretty much steamroll everybody, and I don't appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Markwart, and let the record show that Miss Brown and Mayor Haskett are not married.
Man, I voted against him as mayor the first time, so.
Councilmember Brown, do you have any further comments for this?
Yes, as Shaniko small water operator, just a quick update that yesterday we went under a precautionary boil water notice due to the loss of pressure from the Wasco electric power outage. Again, this was just out of an abundance of caution. Those test results did come back this afternoon and they were free and clear. I've consulted with OHA and they have authorized me to lift the boil water notice. So to repeat, the water is safe to drink. Precautionary measure, there was no problem with the water, and it's been confirmed that we are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. At this time, I'm going to adjourn the City of Shaniko Special City Council meeting, May 13th, 2026, and the time is 5 minutes before 8 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.